Hey, True Believers. Chris Mack coming at you today with Blink Issue 4. And this is from June of 2001, which was a couple years later than when the Age of Apocalypse event actually happened, so you can essentially call this part 42. What I liked about this issue and what Scott Liddell did in terms of storytelling is instead of trying to stay on the main Earth 295 and try to figure out Blink's story, he initially whisked her away to literally another dimension and gave her amnesia. She somehow, in the first issue, ended up in the negative zone. She doesn't remember anything of her past other than little glimpses of her childhood, the fact that her name's Clarice, and that she can teleport. And that's it. Now, before we dive into this, spoilers will abound to a degree. We have gone over Blink's issues 1 through 3, so I'll make sure to leave our Age of Apocalypse playlist somewhere here so that you guys can click on it, or you can look at our playlists on the main channel. With that said, she joins up with the Negative Zone's resistance fighters to take down Ballastar, who is the one that currently rules what's called the Zone. She falls in love with the rebel leader named Amir. I don't know how to pronounce his name for the love of my life. I don't know how to pronounce it. But anyway, they fall in love, and you actually care about their relationship and how, that they've just fallen for each other. And even though Clarice cares for him to a degree, she doesn't know if it's love or if she's just clinging to him. But by the end of the last issue, you can kind of see where it was starting to go until this horrible atrocity of them ending up in jail happens. So make sure to check out the other issues. So let's talk about who made this book real quick. Blink was created by Scott Liddell and Joe Madureira. Scott Liddell does the plot. Judd Winnick did the script. Trevor McCarthy did the penciling. Okay, all this is sort of Rod Ramo, Rick Sketchum, and Todd. See, I hate when they do that because it makes it so damn hard to see their names. But there's the inkers. And then those guys at Liquid did color. And Richard Starkings and Comicrafts. And then there's everyone else that was working on the book at the time. And I love how Joe Quesada says that he is currently blinked. See, I miss that. Even in 2001, they were still doing little funnies like that to bring the rest of, the readers in with what was going on. So I miss that now. I miss that little kind of tongue-in-cheek humor. Now, the first half, sorry for the computer cable guys there, but this book wants to keep flapping shut and it's pissing me off. Blink is heartbroken by the revelation of what she finds out about Amor, which I'm going to try to not spoil because that's kind of the big thing of this book. And I love that this issue is called Full Recall, total recall. Anyway, moving on. But what Amor really is going to kind of cause the destruction of the Negative Zone. So the whole beginning of this book is, the lover is in prison and he's, please Blink, or he doesn't, Clarice, because she doesn't remember her name's Blink, but he's like, please meet eyes with me and know that I'm telling the truth. And it gets a little predictable because Ballastar comes in and says, ha ha ha, he really didn't know who he was and he really did love you. And of course the protagonist is like, really? He was actually telling the truth? And you can kind of see how her look of that hope changes. So it's a little predictable because there's a lot of shows that use that antic, but nonetheless, it's Blink. She's in the Negative Zone. I mean, come on, how much more do you want? So if it's a little predictable, who gives a shit? And he says, there is one thing that Amor was keeping from you that belongs to you, and he throws down her quiver of Blink. Like, are those daggers? I always forget exactly what they are. But I love how, Ballastar leaves that. Of course, again, sort of that little trope of you've left her with what she actually needs. I think one thing, and if you guys, if this sounds a little too egotistical, make sure to knock me down a couple of pegs in the comments, but going through film school, I guess when I see certain things like this, it's just like, it's so damn predictable now, and it's so hard to watch TV because of this, because I'm like, I bet you that's going to happen, and some variation usually does, so. She's going to get away. But nonetheless, look at this great splash page of how they're going to use Amor to destroy the Zone. What is this canon? Read the book. but still just great artwork overall. And then we kind of go back to that predictability of the guards antagonizing the slave, and like clockwork, too late. But again, one thing I've always loved about Blink is how when she teleports, she's just this nimble little minx, just boom, boom, boom. You know, she's just like this deadly ass little assassin, and you have to watch out for her. She's just as deadly as Kurt when he does his teleporting punches. She's the same way, just wham, bam, damn, takes the guards out. Great artwork there. And she comes to save her true love as her memories finally come back to her and she realizes who she is. But the man that she loves is no longer that person, and he goes, do not save me. You are going to ruin everything. So I'm not going to give away that part. Though I do like the way that Amor's character, even though there's a certain bit of redemption, it really shows and it shines towards the end. And then right here, I hate that meanwhile, because the X-Men have been searching for, we just kind of get this breakfast scene. And the artwork's kind of, I would have rather seen them in the middle of a battle fighting Holocaust or something, and then Blake just kind of shows up or something like that, but they're all sitting there talking about food, and she just kind of crashes through the table, which is kind of funny in what happens. And then there's a great moment between her and Sabretooth, because remember, Sabretooth's kind of like her surrogate father, because he saved her when Logan and him, I can't remember what type of factory it was that they destroyed, but Logan was saying, let's get out of here. And it was Creed that discovered her and raised her, and that's why she looks to him as a father figure. So as the book ends, there's a very poignant moment between him and her, and then there's another very interesting moment with the person that is no longer Amor, which I do not want to give away. So guys, Blink issue 4, it's kind of corny and predictable, but nonetheless, to see Clarice Ferguson Blink in her own standalone series in the Age of Apocalypse, I highly recommend it. And then after you've read this, go make sure you check out the Exile series, because I believe her and the Age of Apocalypse morph make it into that universe. And the few that I've read have been really fun. And if I come across any, or if you guys want to kick any my way, I'll review the Exile series, because it was fun and just kind of a way of setting outside of the main X-Men continuity. So be that as is may, Blink issue 4, great artwork, awesome, loved it. If you guys have enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and grab all 4 issues. If you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate it if you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you won't mind hitting that fancy little X bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel, and we love hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below, or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.